What's going on, guys? So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the parts that I have here and show you why I bought these. So as you can see, these wheel adapters are for the Suzuki Carry to install these SSR wheels. Now the reason I had to do this was because I read in forums and Google pretty much that said that the wheel bolt pattern for the Suzuki Carry was 114.3. Now I don't know if this was for the four-wheel drive or the two-wheel drive, I don't know, but mine's two-wheel drive and that was not the bolt pattern. It is a 4x100. So these are 4x100 adapters to 114.3. So this is where the wheel will sit, and then this adapter obviously sits to my trucks. So what I have to do now, and the reason I have them out, is because I bought some longer studs because these will not work. They are not long enough, and just the thread barely is way too short, and that can cause for the nut to come off while driving. So obviously I don't want that, so I'm gonna make them a little bit longer. Now I did have to change the pattern because these studs are a different pattern from this one. I think this is 1.25 if I'm right, and this is 1.5. So something like that. Hopefully I'm right on those numbers, and not I'll correct myself. But I'm gonna go ahead and change those. And also another thing I need to do is pretty much cut the thread of where the truck sits, which I'll show that in the video later when I'm doing it. But I need to cut that because I bought another adapter to sit flush, so when I sit the wheel on it, it won't hit, and it can sit, mount flush on this surface. So I'll of course show you that later. But let's go ahead and change these. All right, so wanted to go ahead and compare. So pretty much that much lower. I am gonna have to cut these eventually once I get the measurements of how the lug nut fits and everything. I'm thinking it's gonna be like around here. I kind of measured it earlier and saw that the lug nut was like passed through, so, and this was sticking out pretty far. So I'm definitely gonna have to cut. I don't know what the proper way is to do that, but we'll find out later in the video, see how I am gonna do that. All right, so it's the next day. I'm gonna go get these tires mounted on these wheels. Got them back there. Gonna go ahead and go on the K-truck because that's the only truck that I have that can hold these wheels. So time to head out and go install these. All right, so here are the wheels and the tires all mounted. Looks very nice. I wish it would have gone a little thinner wall, but this will do for now, honestly. We will see, because the front might have a problem and it might hit. So I kind of want to start with the front and then work my way to the back, see what hits. So let's go ahead and see if we can mount the front, which is, because they're different offsets, which is these. These have a little bit of a deeper dish in the front. But yeah, let's see how that comes out. All right, so here's the plan. These are the adapters that we just changed the studs on. This goes first. And then once I bolt this down, the bolts are gonna be sticking out. And there's no like flat surface, so because of the studs and the lug nuts sticking out. So that's why I bought this adapter. This will go over this, but I'm gonna have to drill it a little bit bigger just so it can go over the lug nuts and whatever little bit is sticking out. Now I definitely need these studs and lug nuts to stick out a little more, obviously, so the wheel doesn't come off or vibrate off and so on. Now if it sticks a little bit longer and I have space to cut, I will do so. But right now I'm gonna just put the bolt on, test fit, and then see if it turns. If I see that it turns good enough inside here, then we'll be good and we can go ahead and install all four, because I don't think the rear will have any type of problems because there's just so much space over there. All right, so all the lug nuts are on. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put this over, and you're gonna see, so it's not gonna sit flush because I need to cut it. So once I cut it to where it needs to be, then I'll go ahead and put the wheel on. The reason why I can't put just the wheel on here is because the back hits, there's just not enough space for it. And usually there should be another adapter on top of this adapter that covers these, but this type of adapter just didn't bring that. I don't know why. Maybe because, I don't know, it kind of doesn't make sense, right? Because it should have another adapter that sits over this. So that's why I'm improvising here and found these. Now what I did do, I did 3D print the mil spec that I needed. So this is 10 mil. So I just went ahead and test fitted this. It fit perfectly. I saw that it would go over the bolts perfectly, like it'll hide them perfectly, so this can sit flush. So that's why I went ahead and ordered these at 10 mil, and should be enough to pretty much cover this and have some extra space. So let's go ahead and cut this up to see if we can make it sit flush. So I just finished grinding this down as flat as I could go on it. And as you can see, those are the little cuts I did. Obviously it doesn't look really clean and it's not gonna get any better, but this is way better than cutting through it. This keeps the integrity of it and just keeps it pretty strong. But now it's gonna go in here and it's gonna lay flat. As you can see, the lug nuts aren't hitting, and that's exactly what I wanted. Obviously it's not perfect. I think there's different ways I can put it to make it better. Let's see if this is one. So it goes a certain way just because I cut them to shape to certain lug nuts. But there you go. Pretty flat. Maybe I gotta clean it up a little better, but this is the first one. I'll look into it, but it should be fine. Obviously you don't want that wiggle, but it looks really good. I think this bottom one needs a little bit more work, and we'll finish up. But yeah, but everything looks like it's doing its job. All right, so we came across some problems. So right now it's hitting on the mud flap, and that mud flap kind of runs across all the way to maybe like right here in the back over there. So it also acts as a fender liner in a way. Also hitting in the front, you can't really see it, but it's hitting on the bottom piece, not the door. Door opens fine, it barely misses the door. But I'm gonna have to cut just a tiny bit off, and maybe it'll get through. I'm not really sure, but it's gonna have to be all the way to the bottom. Of course, we don't know while it's driving if it's gonna do even more damage. That's something that's also possible. So, you know, as it's lower, it might go up, which I might just bring it down right now, just kind of check, but that's another thing we need to look for. So I'm gonna go ahead, remove this, and then start cutting here just to have this side ready. And then, yeah, so let's just drop it real quick This is just on the ride height that it has right now to see where it lands in those places. So now you can see that it's way worse. So we have to possibly cut the door a little bit. We'll see. I'll try to avoid that, but I think we are gonna have to cut the door. And, you know, possibly without the adapter, this would have worked. So, not good. We'll see. Let's just get to it. We have to cut the door a little. There's not much of a cut. All right, so my phone died midway through and I couldn't show you the rest of what I did, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you and show you what I've done. So I finished the front. So you can see right here all these like open cuts that I did. And it's not horrible, it looks horrible, but it's not horrible. Something I can weld and fix up. And then you see the inside here that I hammered in. I'm probably gonna put that a little bit closer and weld that as well, just to close it up. I don't think it'll seal. I'm probably gonna have to throw another seal on top of that seal or a seal inside the cab. So probably have to throw a seal in here just so it can seal a little better. But as you can see, I had to make this huge cut. I had no choice, and that's gonna have to stay. I can clean it up a little bit better and just cut this rest of this piece off. We'll see. Honestly, I don't know what I'll do there because I do want it to sit on the seal still, so we'll see on that. Also had to hammer this part in. It's still rubbing on there. I kind of want to drive it first and see where it's, you know, hitting, making all these noises, and then go ahead and fix it up. I do want to maybe, if it is like rubbing really bad, cut that up and box it up to make it a little flatter. Also, finish the back here. Pretty much where the mud flap was sitting, I had to go ahead and cut a big chunk out of it. But, I mean, if you close it and you look at it, it looks no different from what it looked like before, and I can go ahead and prove it. Let me go ahead and show you the other side of the wheel well, and you'll kind of see that there's really no difference. They look like the same, just one's a little bit bigger. But I try to keep that line on the truck. So I try to keep that line on that truck to make it look real nice. I can obviously put a fender flare and hide all this, but I want to put a body kit on it, so it's gonna have to stay like this for now. You know, just fix the problems with it when I'm driving it and I figure it out, and then I'll go ahead and put everything back. So this is probably the first wheel. I've been at it for 5 hours, so now I'm gonna go ahead and go to the other side because I really want to drive it off with both front wheels on and kind of see how it does. I feel like the back will be a tiny bit easier or really easy. Just need to cut the adapters how I did here, and that should be it. I don't think I would have any rubbing problems or any problems at all. At least, you know, let's hope so. So, yeah. All right, now that I'm on the other side, I kind of wanted to show you what I'm doing. So, start off, I copied where I cut on the other side. So, like the exact points where I stopped on the driver's side, I'm doing on this side. So I started off with this cut. So there's the most simple cut, which is just pretty much this piece goes all the way down here. So I just cut exactly like I cut the other one and then stopped here. and I kind of stopped like right here, and then as I, you know, put the tire back and see where it hits, I'll start cutting that little area. And right now I am done cutting this area down here, because you got to cut from way down here to up here, but it leaves the back end there, and I like leaving that there because I'm just gonna go ahead now and hammer this in, so one of these days I can come back and weld this up and it'll be, you know, done, and I don't need a, and you know, water or anything won't get in. So that's the plan with that. So it should just turn in now, and then obviously hammer this in. And now I'm gonna go on the door. So before I kind of like started at the door and then went to here and then back and forth. So instead, if you're doing this yourself, you might as well just start with the inside, because that's the like most it's gonna hit is here, and the most problems gonna give you is here. Obviously the door is pretty simple. On the last one I had to remove this rubber and kind of cut into here up and then cut here. So at first I cut like maybe up to this because I didn't want to cut all the way over here, but I have no choice. I had to cut all the way over here, because if not, the wheel just won't pass through. So how you saw on the other one, I pretty much cut up here and had to remove this piece. And my plan is now that, like, because there is a gap now, like not crazy, but there is a gap. My plan is to maybe put this rubber here, like glue it here and have like double the thickness, just so, or glue it on this side and have a rubber here. Something along those lines. For sure I'm putting some kind of rubber here just so nothing happens. I'm gonna clean it up the best I can, but you know, just so it can look clean and so I can have more of something to grab on and nothing, moisture, water, nothing gets in for now. So yeah, hammer this in, hammer that in. Again, I'm gonna have to box this up. I already know it. I'm gonna have to box it up, so I'll do that another time. But yeah, so let me go ahead and finish doing this. All right, that was horrible. My turning radius is super bad. But we kind of knew that anyways. What a bummer. I would have to lift it up to kind of make it work. It honestly is the tires. I did get them too big, but it's the only tires. Like, I can probably get them from Japan and send them over. They seem to have like every tire you need. But honestly, even though I can do Toyo tires, but those are so much, and I just went with these Falcons, and this was like the best I could do. Now for that size 14, so I don't know, I'm kind of torn here. I don't want to lift it up. It definitely needs more steering. I don't even know if when I'm driving it's gonna do any good. I know obviously right now I'm in the back of my house, so there is bumps and it's super uneven. So maybe when I drive it'll be better, right? Like on a straight line, it's no problem. Like it doesn't need to touch nowhere. At least I don't think. But I did notice that when I was trying to turn here right now on this uneven surface, it kind of like is hitting on the door now. I'm not so sure it's hitting on the inside. I feel like there's enough space on the inside. But like it might be hitting, but it's very little. But for sure it's hitting on the outside, because I can feel like if it picked up the door in some way. So probably gonna have to trim the door a little bit more in the front. I don't know if it's the front or the back, honestly, but it's ready to trim. There's no problem with that. I can easily trim it. But let's go ahead and start on this back. I feel like this should be easy. I'm saying that right now, and it might take forever, but yeah, let's hope it goes by quick.